Hello and welcome back. Now in the last episode it was quite short. We did the wireless experiments over there and over here with the explosion at the end. But what I'm basically going to show you this time is piping. Now piping an item from one thing to another is something everyone will know, and it's not hard to do. All you have to do is have a redstone engine powering your wooden transport pipe into a cobblestone or stone or iron or any other pipe. It will then pass it through into wherever you want it to go. Now, I have some ores with me. As we all know in Tekkit, the thing you like to do is get some iron ore in there. It'll pass it through into your macerator. Your macerator will macerate it and move it forward again. So you can see it coming through here. It's actually going quite fast for once. Don't know why. But the one thing that you always find wrong with these pipes is they will pass through anything. So if we suddenly had 32 tin ore there, so we'll just take out some of this iron ore so that it can shift through it, and then you had more iron ore afterwards, what it will actually do is, instead of going from one iron ore to the other, it'll immediately start evacuating the tin out. There you go. As you can see right there, it is now passing it down this pipe, into that pipe, into this chest at the end. Now what we have here is a nice iron constructor where I made my own little device for passing it to the macerator and the furnace quicker, well, I think it's quicker than the redstone engine doing it. Because although these look like they might be going faster and everything, you have seen nothing yet. Now, what you'll need for this is pneumatic tubes. These tubes are really smart, really good to use. These tubes basically will pass your items from this chest into this little thing here. This little thing is a transposer. When hit with the redstone power, it will immediately click that and click forward. Because it will pipe an item through from there, just one item, into this pipe and pipe it through into the macerator. The macerator macerates it, puts it into here, sends it through to the furnace. Furnace smelts it, puts it in here, sends it through to our chest. Now, what we're aiming for is, as you can see, this one is still going through basically about half the iron, well, 64 iron and half tin. We'll say around that amount. So what we'll do is, we will place in here, we will have one tin ore here, one iron there, one tin here, bit of iron there, some copper, then go back to tin, then copper. Now, what should happen is, after it's finished with the iron, it should go to the tin. But it will have a look first, see what the macerator is doing. If the macerator is still going on iron, it will just cancel out and should send our iron ore forward. Or, it will just stop and not send any more until the macerator is empty and ready to receive. Once the macerator is ready to receive and has sent everything out its way over here, it will then send over the tin ore, and the tin ore will be macerated. And when the furnace is empty, this one will send it. It will not send it if the furnace is still going on the iron dust. Then it will pass it into this chest. So if we turn this on, you can have a quick gander. As you can see, it is speeding out here and going into the macerator. The macerator is macerating it and passing it immediately into the furnace. Now what we're waiting for is when this iron runs out, it should either move on to this iron or just stop. It actually has not passed any more iron. It's stopped, and in here is one block of tin. Now when this macerator is actually done, it will send the tin ore over. It's still sending some more iron dust there, so it won't just macerate just yet. But that's all okay, because this will stop after all the tin ore, so that the macerator has time to then macerate and send the tin ore forward. Obviously this will be smelted, passed into here. Now, the macerator is obviously slower than the furnace. But if the macerator was actually quicker than the furnace, so we've got 10 overclockers in there and 10 in here. If we knock that down to 5, right? This is now receiving iron. Now it's still sending the tin. Now you see it's stopped. It's not sending the iron dust, even though the macerator has some, because the furnace is still going. And if we sped up the furnace now, the furnace will smelt through that tin dust to make tin ingots, and the iron will be passed through the minute the furnace is empty. It's a nice, easy system. As you can see, it's made us a ton of stuff in there, and it's done that so quickly and effectively. It passes it really fast down these tubes, so you can have these tubes from miles away and it will pass it through. The transposer will only send one item, and will also check, obviously, at the end of the pipe, if that is willing to get the item. It will not send it if it's not willing. Which brings us on to our next box over here. This box here is filled with scrap. Now, as everyone knows, scrap is your basic element for making UU matter. But the thing is, getting this scrap, you have to use a recycler. I have a smaller system set up down here. This transposer here will take the scrap out of the recycler and send it up the pipe into the chest. Nice and simple. The timer at the moment is set on 0.4 of a second. So every 0.4 of a second, it will send it through. So 400 milliseconds, if you like. Anyway, it will send it through the pipe and pass it into the chest. All of these here are also set on 0.4. If you go below 0.4, usually the transposer gets a bit stuck and it will just not do anything. But you can see here it's working absolutely fabulously, just passing everything through for us. Now I have got a lot of overclockers on these. The reason why it's not running out of juice, I will show you, is there's still a lot of sand around it. I think the TNT blew it all over. But there is solar arrays on the back. I was going to use just geothermal energy, which is what I usually use. I also use my combustion method for passing energy into an MFSU. But in this case, I just wanted to show you what had happened with fully overclocked setups. Now that has gone through our tools instantly, and the greatest thing is this box here could be piping in all your stuff that you really want. So any ingot, any ores that you have that need to be macerated and furnaced, you could set up a teleport pipe from your quarry and put it in there. It will take things out of the quarry and sort that into a diamond pipe for you. As I said, I'm going to do a diamond pipe episode eventually, but not just yet. Back down to our basement here. In this basement, we have a condenser. Now the condenser has one cobblestone there. Now the condenser has one cobblestone in the target zone and a stack of it here. What you need to do for this is it's infinite cobblestone basically, because the recycler doesn't care about EMC values. It will just recycle anything you put in there and send it up as scrap if it finds any. So it will be passing these into there. Now, as you've noticed, this is actually slightly different than this. That's because this is a filter. Now, the difference is a filter can pass 64 items at once, so a stack, basically. This is set to 9.8 seconds. So it will pass that through every 9.8 seconds into the recycle, and the recycle will scrap it using 8 overclockers, 3 transformers, and we'll pass it there. We don't actually need that many transformers. You only need 2 if you're using a glass fibre cable like I am. If you're using extreme voltage, so your big, massive insulated cable, you're going to want to use 3 transformer grades for the extreme voltage. Now, the condenser, all you have to do is throw in, like, say, a red matter in here. It will have a lot of backed up energy as well as a lot of cobblestone for you. And if we flick that on, and then flick this one on, what will happen is this time will tick down. When it hits the first one, it will start passing it. Now you may hear a lot of clicking through this. This is because the timers click furiously. As you can see, these are still going even though nothing's there. So you just flick that lever, the timers go off. You'll need a way to turn the timers on and off, otherwise it will get on your nerves a lot. Now, the recycler is receiving a block of 64 cobblestone from here, from the pneumatic tubes into the top, and it is recycling through it at a massive speed, so that it can immediately put it into this, like, transposer, something like that, and pass it into the box up here. This is a quick system for getting your scrap for when you want to make UU matter and things like that. Oh, it's turning to night time again. We need it undone because I have solar arrays, obviously. The recycler down there is powered with a solar array. Now, as you saw there, the item went backwards. That's because the recycler hasn't finished. So when the recycler hasn't finished, the filter will still send the items, but it will actually take them back in and keep sending them to the item. In our case, the recycler. It will keep sending it to the recycler until the recycler can process it. If we just increase this, you want to get it, so the minute the recycler's done with a stack of 64, another stack of 64 is being presented to it, so it can immediately churn through there. Then, all you have to do is turn this on and walk away. your filter will make sure that everything's passed to there until the condenser runs out of energy. We've already gone through a lot of energy there. The recycler will go through all of your cobblestone in seconds. Any scrap it makes will be placed in this pile here and sent up. It should as well, because I've just increased that, be able to finish this cobblestone by the time you see one coming out here. You see this one coming here? Now, the recycler had finished there, and this one had just started. You can set it up so the minute the recycler's finished, it will get another stack. And you can use transposers for this. Don't be afraid to use transposers. The only problem is with a transposer is the transposer will send the item if it's cobblestone, obviously. So, since we're only sending cobblestone, transposer might get mixed up. It might send as much cobblestone as it can into the recycler. Also, sending a stack of 64 means it can just work its way through there, which is really nice and really effective. You can do this with anything you want, but you have to make sure that these types of boxes here, so we've got the transposer and the filter, have to be wired to a redstone energy. If you use a lever, it will only turn them on and off. You have to use a timer, or if you use a button, you could just keep clicking the button. Down there, you saw a lot of my wiring. I'll take this block of iron, but I will go down and show you it now I've revealed it. So we have our wireless receiver here that is sending the current down here, which stops the timer, because the timer will always go when it's not receiving the redstone current. You can see the red bit here. When I turn that off, so if we come over here, it will now stop having the redstone power in. So the timer will start. The timer will tick, and this will send items if there's any items in there. It's all nice and simple. We'll go turn this off and go explore our scrap machine again. Yeah, so the scrap machine at the moment is doing absolutely fine. Now the filter does have a backlog here, so if you send too many items at once and it keeps putting it back and forward, you can actually disconnect the pipe and it will just receive it back, and the filter will hold on to it until there is time. It also will, if you have tin and iron, it'll take out the tin, pass that forward. If that is not ready, it'll keep the iron inside, but wait for the next redstone pulse to take whatever's in that chest, and it will pass the iron afterwards when that's done. So, why don't we use filters for everything? Well, transposers work better for when you're macerating or furnacing, really. If you're putting a stack of 64 in, you want to be able to have, like, the macerator here will take in all the stuff from this chest. You have to make sure that if you've got, like, a filter, it will just keep passing and receiving until the macerator is empty. The best thing about these is you can set them up to send at the speed you prefer. Underneath on the timer, just add, say, a second or 3 on there. If we add 3 seconds on there, it will pass a lot slower now. So you can get it to go even slower than our redstone out here, which has passed through our iron and our tin. You put the iron in here. Now every time that ticks through, it will send just 1 block for you. So if you have a really cruddy macerator that's not overclocked or anything like that, you could send it at this speed. Likewise, you could probably put it down to 1.4 and it will send it like this. So it's a bit faster, but not as fast. You saw the redstone engine was actually doing a better job. Now, the other point for these is obviously they're smart pipes. As I've said before, and I will say again, if there's tin in there, it will not send the tin because the macerator is busy. It doesn't want to keep troubling the macerator and say, hey, can you accept one tin? So it will just hold on to it until the macerator goes, okay, then send that tin over. And this won't. This will just keep piping like a beast. It will pipe your iron, your tin, your copper, everything, and it will flood all over the floor and you'll be crying on the floor. You can lower this down. As I said before, I think any lower than up before, yeah, look, it has now stopped. Now there is iron in there, but it's not pumping it at all because the timer is going berserk. It doesn't know what it's doing. There we go. 0.35 seems to be the lowest that you can go to. You can see it piping through there quite quickly into the macerator. So much so that the macerator is having a bit of trouble there, but I have got quite a lot of overclockers in these, as I say. So it's quite a nice little system. Down here, you obviously have my other system with the alchemical chest. Alchemical chest, energy condenser. Has been energy condenser. As you can see, it's run out now. Now, a block of iron is worth 2,304 EMC. You can see that with the EMC value, and cobblestone is only worth 1. But say you had, say, uranium that you'd found underground. That's something that you'll find in a quarry. You have 3 uranium. So you put your 3 uranium in there, and it's now made you a bunch of cobblestone. But it also has a backlog here of the amount of EMC that it has stored in it. So 6,784 more cobblestone it will make before it runs out again. So your recycler can just churn through all of that. It will take a lot of energy if you're recycling at the speed I am right now. Your scrap will build up, and in the end, you will be able to obtain your quantum suit. We will go over the quantum suit later, because you obviously need a mass fabricator for that to make the U matter, and the U matter makes your quantum suit for you. I think most people know how to make a quantum suit at the moment, but those that don't, you can watch, you can see what you want. There's a lot of ticking, because every time the timer goes round, it will tick. So down here, every time this hits the redstone switch here and turns this on, it ticks. There you go, you heard it there. This is going extremely slow at the moment, so it's only 10 seconds. You might think that's a bit of a waste because it's going at 10 seconds, but it means that the minute our recycler is stopped, it will send again, which, in my eyes, is never a waste if it's going to keep accepting the blocks in there after it's done. So you can put anything in there. You could obviously, if you really want it, the one thing that I have got to say, we did go through teleport pipes at one point to show like the teleport piping and everything, and oh, not again. Really? Okay, we need to do something like this. I'll just quickly get myself a pipe, and we'll place the pipe on it. There we go. You would be able to do the quarry as well with the pneumatic pipes. They're quite useful for a lot of things, to be honest. I only started using them recently, and I really found them useful, and that's the reason why I'm just dedicating an episode to them now. There we go. Now, this should, hopefully, be able to pass them to the box that actually requires items. You can see, though, we have some uranium ore in there. If you took that uranium ore, it's only worth 4,000 EMC, I believe now. It was actually worth a lot more, but they put down the EMC in the newest update of Tekkit. So down here is where you would have like a teleport pipe here that would be piping all things out of those crystal chests and piping them into that chest. But obviously you'd only want ores to come in here. If you put like coal dust in, it'll take it to the macerator. The furnace cannot use it, so this will not send it. I'll just give a quick example of that now. We'll just get rid of some of this rubbish that's laying around in my backpack at the moment that we picked up over there. And we'll take some coal. Coal dust you are going to need, so obviously this is quite relevant. The coal is now coming out and being passed into the macerator to be macerated. But it is being passed into the furnace. Now the furnace can't use it. So you'd have to be here to stop that. You could also have, say, a lever here and a lever there. So you could just turn this transponder on whenever you wanted it. So instead of sending it, the macerator would hold on to all your coal you've just sent. And then you can collect it. Or, if you have a filter, I have not tried this yet, and I will be discussing it maybe in another episode. The filter does have this little box here. As far as I can tell, this little box sorts things out and sends them like they're ready to go. This has actually gone too fast again, and the recycler has stopped, as you can see. The recycler was not accepting any more bricks, and the filter was having a bit of a paddy and wanted to send them. It was like, please accept my bricks, I want them to go to you. But these here will tick away, obviously. At the moment, this one can't do anything because it doesn't know what to do with coal dust. It's like, what is this you put in me? So you'd have to come and take coal dust out, which is not exactly ideal, but has to happen. The other thing I've noticed with pneumatic pipes is that if one chest is filled, they will put it in the next one. I'm fairly sure sometimes I've had a redstone engine pipe things down and it's gone to a chest that's full, and instead of moving to the next chest instead, it's just kind of plopped it out on the floor. and then just laughed at me as I have to sit there picking it all up. Hopefully we fixed this quarry now, though. Oh, there's a lot of oil over there as well. There's one copper up there. There we go. So yeah, we fixed the quarry now. It's funneling everything out and putting it in there. This chest is actually full and it's not going in there, which is very nice. Usually it would probably go, oh, I think I'll put it in there. With a filter, you could probably, an advanced pipe, you could set this to put them, like if you have 3 chests, 1 for iron, 1 for miscellaneous, 1 for your cobblestone, your sand, everything like this. So that any coal or uranium or iron ore would go into your ore chest and your miscellaneous chest for the uranium and coal. So that would be a good solution on how to run a successful quarry if you're doing one of this size. Ooh, I've fallen in the oil. I keep reverting back to that quarry because it is going to be quite a landmark. I've never built a quarry that big. Never been able to power one that big in survival mode. I mean, the 3 combustion engines will probably work for it. We'd have to try that out though at some point. I did have a play around with quarries at one point and powering them and everything. If I could actually find where I did it, I'd probably show you. But it's absolutely miles away. Now, the playing around that I actually did was, the redstone engines do obviously give some power off, and I wondered how many it would take to run a quarry at maximum speed. If you want a quick rundown, just don't. If you want a kind of longer rundown, I got to about, I think it was 28 redstone, and the quarry was ticking, literally. Where the little bars up here are made, the girders, it was just creating one, waiting a little while, creating the next one, waiting a little while. Now 28 redstone engines are not cheap to make, and to be honest, 2 steam engines could run the quarry at the same speed. Obviously volatile. I have never used steam engines on a quarry. I dislike them. I've used the combustion engines just because of the shut-off valve that I've invented I've not invented, the shut-off valve that I basically thought up one day. I thought, I'll just use that instead. Now we have some, the recycler, if you don't know much about the recycler, all it does is it takes in an item and it will crush it down and see if it can find any scrap in there. If it finds some scrap for you, you will end up with a lot of this. Now scrap is useful for putting in a generator or a mass fabricator to make UU matter. If you make UU matter with scrap, then it's quite useful to have. Just turn this back to dawn, it keeps going to night. It's quite useful to have because you can make the quantum suit with it and anything else that you really, really need. Right then, I'll leave it there for today. We've discussed better piping, or at least I think it's better piping than using the redstone engine. At the moment this one's flashing. I'm just going to turn it on. So we shall leave it there. I'll see you later. Goodbye. Don't forget to comment, like or subscribe. Anything you feel like. No pressure at all. See you later.